Welcome to the 8th episode of our podcast. This episode is a little special because we've got Aran Sanchez playing here live. He's from the heart of Andalusia, he's a musician, as you can tell, and he also works as a teacher for the International School of Ostrava. There will be his little performance, a song called Ostrava included within the podcast, so stay tuned for it. This is Expat Episodes, where new stories begin. I'm Martin, your host, and I'll be guiding you through the stories of expats in the Czech Republic. So, hello Aran, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me here today. It's a pleasure.
So, how are you today?
I'm very good. Waking up on Monday in Ostrava, having a podcast. Still holiday time for me, so it's good.
This is your first podcast?
It is actually. I had in the past some interviews in Czech radio and so on, but not as a podcast properly like this.
So you mentioned holidays. Did you just come back from somewhere?
I came back on Thursday from Spain. It was a bit crazy trip because we had to fly to Vienna. In Vienna, it was with delay. Vienna train to Ostrava, also with delay. Arrived to Ostrava 4 in the morning. Day after concert at Pieši Zona Malakodan in Dog, and like bit in a rush. But now I'm settled. I think after the Sunday, fully sleeping and so on.
Wow, that's
pretty
a
much
packed
fine.
schedule.
Yeah.
Was it? Did you travel to Spain for holidays or?
Yeah. I go with my family every summer. When we finish at the school, we take a plane, and kids love it there. My wife as well, and my parents are very happy to welcome us and all my friends and so on.
I see. So you just came back from your vacation and you went straight to business with your concert. at Pieši Zona.
but with pleasure. It was, as I said, like we were there for a month and something. And this is a month I've been playing there in Spain as well, but with other musicians, with my friends there. And I was missing my band here as well, so it was nice to come and straight away have a concert with them and had fun.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So maybe can we start with a introduction? We've
Sure.
already established that you're a musician and a teacher. So what's the
Yes.
story behind that?
Well, this is a long story. Let's start with a little introduction and then we will get there. My name is Aran Sanchez Caro, because in Spain we have two surnames. And I come from a little village in the south of Spain. It's called Arcos de la Frontera. It belongs to the province of Cádiz, Andalusia. And I grew up there pretty much until I went to study to the city. I studied music education. And at the same time, I was studying flamenco guitar because of the tradition in my family and so on. And many circumstances brought me here to Ostrava. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here, to be part of the expat community and also the local community to feel really part of it. And I like it.
You're from a family of musicians then?
Yes, there is a tradition. Let's say my family had a long tradition of guitarists since my great grandfather. He was a flamenco guitarist. He was, let's say, the first one in the family and also in the village, in the region. He learned by ear everything he knew. There was no radios in that time, but once per week there came to the village one gramophone. They were playing the old flamenco recordings, and he was just listening, running home, trying to play it with the guitar. And to me, that was really powerful to know that story through my uncle, who is my teacher, and the next one in the generation, and the next one, it's me, which I am proud to say, like, I keep the tradition, and I still know what my great-grandpa was playing, and I have it written, I have it recorded, so that I can pass it as well to maybe my son or my daughter one day, or someone else, who knows.
I see. Or maybe your students at school, right?
Absolutely. I have not a lot of students interested in flamenco, but some of them they are, and I'm glad to say, like, there is no, in the past there was a said, like, if you are not born in Andalusia, you don't have it. that's a lie. It's not true. I have so many friends from Japan, from China, from Italy, from France, and they are excellent flamenco musicians. From Czech Republic, absolutely. There are so many flamenco dancers and guitarists and singers even. And so nowadays, with all the technology we have, with the easy way of traveling there and here, and I think like there is no limits to learn any music in the world. Like, and flamenco is one of them. And I'm happy to pass the knowledge on my students, definitely, or at least to show them that there is a nice music as well there. They can listen. Yeah.
So why did you decide to leave Andalusia?
Well, my generation, was a little bit hit by the crisis in the 2008, 2009. That was a time when me and my friends, we were finishing the studies, and really the work situation was really bad. So we decided to start moving. Some of us went to Madrid, to bigger city, to start working and so on. Me myself, I always wanted to go abroad to know other places. In fact, the first time my mom asked me, "What do you want for your present?" I don't know, when I was 10 years or something. I wanted to do a trip to some other country, so they took me to Portugal, which is just right there. And so in that time, on the crisis and so on, I was finishing the studies. I have one more year, and I decided to go for Erasmus, though my level of English wasn't quite there yet. After a couple of interviews with the coordinator of Erasmus in my university, she told me like, I'm not sure about you because of the level of English. You can have troubles there and so on. I said, but I want to learn. I want to really do it, and I will do it. So finally, she came with the plan of. I have said this a couple of times around, but she came with the plan that I will make two concerts for the university with my band in the time, and she will just sign the papers, close the eyes, and send me. It was a big casualty as well. I ended up in Brno because my first destination was Nijmegen in Holland, in Netherlands. But somehow they broke relations between the universities. Something happened, which I don't know. And they told me, "What was your second destination?" I said, "Finland, Helsinki." And I was checking the life there. It was too expensive for me. So I cannot afford that. The third one was Brno. So I said, okay, let's go to Brno. And really it was the best decision in my life. Like then it changed the rest of my life after this. I decided to properly learn English, to study, I finished my studies there. I met a lot of wonderful people. Thanks to that, I met Ostrava for first time. I came to play, to do some gigs to Pata Negra, the Spanish restaurant with a flamenco dancer, Aneta Sukumelova. And yeah, it just went one thing behind another.
Yeah, it's amazing to know that this chain reaction was sparked or started by your teacher, you know,
Oh,
who
yeah.
like had to close both of her
Yeah.
eyes so that
Yeah.
you can go to an Erasmus, you know. And like look at you, like you are able to have a conversation in English without hesitation, no problem. So
Absolutely.
if she's watching that, maybe
Yeah.
she can appreciate
Thank
it
you,
and feel
Patricia, for
proud.
that.
Yeah.
She was very proud at the end because I came back with all my subjects passed and with some of them with merits as well. So I think she finally knew that it was a right decision at the end, and her job doesn't have any risk anymore.
That's sweet. So
Yeah.
you said that you ended up in Brno. How did
Yep.
you end up in Ostrava?
Well, that's another sequence of events that were coming. But short story, one day I decided to join my friend to go to a basketball match. It was Spain against France, feminine basketball World Cup. And I sat there in a place where I met a Spanish lady who was working to the university in Brno. Through that lady, I met Carmen. I met a flamenco dancer from Brno, Pavel, and I started to play with him. Through him, I met Aneta, the another flamenco dancer from Ostrava already. And we became friends. We played together. We came to Ostrava to play, blah blah, and we make a good friendship till I went back to Spain. I was living again. The crisis was still on there, so the last 2 years of in Spain, I was working like in three different jobs. I was teaching, I was working in a restaurant, and I was also doing clubs for like extracurricular activities in a school. So I was teaching guitar. Sorry, I didn't mention, and and it was really difficult, like to handle these three jobs, just to pay the bills and not have. So in this kind of crazy situation, I knew like I need to change something, and email from Aneta came after 4 years maybe in Spain, um, and she told me like, look, in the Ostrava International School, they are hiring a Spanish music teacher. If you will be interested or someone you know, just send the CV or tell them to send it. So in that situation, I say, okay, I will send it, and I started to have some interviews with them. I met Brett Gray through the video call, and I had really good feeling from the first conversations and so on. So I decided to come for 1 year. I said, okay, let's try. They liked me in the interview, so they brought me as well for the job. When I came to Ostrava, it was for me like to reset, to say, okay, we start from zero, new environment, new people, new work. Let's see what happened. And what happened was wonderful. I met a beautiful community of teachers, people, locals and expats. Um, I met a job that I really like. One of the reasons I decided to be a music teacher was because when I was in the school, the music lessons weren't really good and weren't really fun. And thanks to my uncle who was teaching me guitar, I fell in love with the music. So I knew that there is another way to teach music, and I wanted to try it. And the Strava International School gave me the opportunity to do that through the IB program, which is an inquiry-based program, and the kids have the opportunity to play instruments from the beginning. They don't need to be stressed with the music. It's a time to span the creativity, to relax, to do other things that they need and their brains need, and it's really powerful for me to see how they grow, how when they go to the secondary, many of them they become musicians because they really have this love for music, and then they decide to study more, seriously, guitar or drums or whatever. And I feel very proud. I'm not saying it's only because of my lessons, but I believe I helped them to find that way somehow. So yeah, like everything came after. Then I met my wife as well. I saw like in Ostrava, it's really great place to raise a family, and yeah, and here I am with my wife and two kids, two lovely kids. So yeah, very happy. No plans to move from here so far.
So, can you please tell me about your life in Ostrava?
Sure. So basically, I am multi-employed, and I will explain you. My first, let's say, work. It's as I said before, I'm a teacher at the Ostrava International School, and I teach music and Spanish. Then I'm a father of two. I'm father of Judita, which has 2 years and a half, and Manuel, which have 5 years. I have a wife as well, Andrea, and then I'm a musician. So my life in Ostrava is full of joy, full of people that I love around. I mentioned before, but I think it's important to say again, the community I have around, not only like in my school, but in my life, it's really helpful always. It has been always very helpful to me, and yeah, I cannot imagine right now my life in any other place than here. Even though I'm in touch with Spain, I go to Spain often. There are my roots, my family, and so on. I think Ostrava is my place to live at the moment, and I'm very happy to say that my kids are growing up here, and yeah. Also, I want to say that more recently, I had the chance to meet a lot of the community from the Ostrava Expat Center. It was wonderful meeting them. I played in the anniversary, and first time I think I saw so many expats together. Because you know, you live in Ostrava, you know there are expats here and there, but in that gathering, it was so beautiful to just chat with one person from India, one person from France, one person from wherever, and it was wonderful, and mixed as well with the local community, which is even more amazing, because it's not sometimes in other places I have been, like the spots tend to, you know, be a little bit a part of the local community, and I think it's really really nice that the Strava Expat Center put together both local and expats. Thank you for that.
So, do you have like any good friends among the expat community?
Sure, sure. I have many. I have many. I don't want to name all of them, or I cannot name all of them, but I will just mention a couple of them. For example, David from Lapeco. I know he was here. He's one of my best friends here. David Girten, also Lasse Nielsen, I mentioned before, and many, many more. Like I will be 2 hours mentioning them, but I feel like really. I don't know, comfortable and appreciate it when I'm in this community, and I hope they get from me as well the same, because I feel happy with them.
And from what I've heard, your band is also like composed mostly of expats and also some local people, no?
They are, yes. So as I say, we are five. Let's say the formation. The Vadim is Czech, Libor is Czech, but Martin is Czech. Then Lassa is Danish, and I am Spanish. So yeah, we have a mixture of local and expats too.
That's good. What was there ever like a communication barrier or language barrier?
To be honest, like for me at the beginning, the Czech was really hard. But as I said before as well, I'm quite a social person. I like to meet people. I am not afraid to speak, even though I knew my Czech wasn't good. I tried always. Every time with the little Czech I had, I tried. Then with the years, of course, I had some lessons. Then the concerts helped me a lot, and also I was recording in the Czech television as well one show, which was supposed to be in Spanish, but it was really little in Spanish and a lot in Czech, so I had to study a lot of scripts and so on, and this helped me. Now I think there is no language barrier. And I feel much more comfortable with my Czech and speaking and so on. Though it's not perfect still, I need to improve more, but it's getting better.
Do you have any favorite Czech words or phrases?
Sure, I love the name Řehoř.
Okay.
I like the word panaka too, because it's very easy to say. And I had a song named Chica Panaka, which is another story. And I found out once I started to met the language, the Czech language, that is a really beautiful language. I now listen to a lot of like pohádku for my kids, no, in like audio pohádku and stuff, and then intonation and the way of pronunciation, the fact that you have longer vowels or shorter vowels, or the way, it's really beautiful, and I would like to learn more one day when my kids will be a bit older.
So, how did you form your band?
That's another thing. When I came here, the first year, of course, I am a musician, and I was touring in Spain before coming here as well. I was playing a lot and trying to live my dream of just being a musician. But of course, I needed to support with other jobs and so on. When I came here and I solved the economical part, like I had my stable job, I could really say like I'm calm with the bills, I'm calm with my house and everything. I started to compose more, but I was missing the concert. I couldn't find musicians who wanted to play with me. Every time I met with some musician, I say like, look, I play this stuff. Oh, that's too difficult. That's too weird. That I don't. And in that time, I met Vadim, my bass player, through my wife's friend from the school, and ever since we're playing together. He was the first musician who said yes, let's do it. I will show you, like, I don't know, I have this studio, we can practice together, let's prepare something. So we started, two of us. I really wanted to have a bass, but of course then I was missing some percussion or some drums. Or so then Lasse came as well up. Lasse Nielsen, he's my colleague in the school as well, and I think he's a good friend from the Stravax Center too. And he started to play with us as well the percussion. Then Mateo as well. He's a more specialized flamenco percussionist, Mateo Garriga. He also played with us. Then we had a saxophone player, Nikos Kuluri. He was playing with us as well. Um, then through that time, like many musicians have been coming and going because of many reasons, like work or studies or whatever. And right now we have like a formation of four, with or five, depend on the venue, with Lassa, Vadim, Libor, and Marty Radula as well in the saxophone. And I'm very thankful to them because I know it's not easy. I like to improvise a lot. This is in my culture. We of course we practice, we try to make the show the best we can, but improvisation is a must. Like you need to connect with the crowd, and very often I just told them, okay, let's change this just on the stage, or let's do this and that, and I'm very happy that they carry on. They they don't care much. So
So
yeah.
where do you draw inspiration for your music, or for your lyrics and the sounds? Because it's way different here than it is in Spain.
Absolutely. Um, when depending when I'm composing, when I'm writing songs and so on, I've been writing since I had maybe 12 years old or something. My mom is a writer too. She writes poems and stuff. So I've been like surrounded by these writing habits and so on. Mm, I I don't think my writing is as good as my mom's, for example. But like the songs I like, yes, and I get inspiration from daily stuff, like things that happen in my life. Or when I was, of course, a teenager, I was writing a lot about love and out of love and this and that. Now I like to get inspired more about the landscapes or the people around me, or certain situations that happen. And yeah, like for example, this last single we record, it was funny the way of composition, because when I was student in the university, we used to go out for party time to time, not a lot, but you know. And after the party, me and my friends who are musicians too, we will just met in the home. We will open a beer and we will start making fun of what happened in the night, but making songs. And I remember that way of composition, and I said, like, it's so creative. Like, it's so nice to just caricaturize what happened, deform a little bit the reality, and come up with a song. So, in that last single, it's called El Poniente. I started to think of that night in the past, and some of the sentences we were saying, and so on. I make like a puzzle with it in a rhythm of cumbia, which is a Latin American rhythm, and it went really nice at the end. Like the result was like the anatomy of a crazy night with crazy characters and so on. And yeah, I really enjoy that. And this is one way, but then of course there is on many other ways of inspiration. You never know really when it comes and how it comes and so on. But for sure, I always have some notebook and I'm writing stuff all the time.
Yeah, like something pops in your mind and you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
okay.
And then you just puzzle or make the music or something.
I see. So can you remember from, I guess, your experience as a musician, was there like any show that you particularly enjoyed, like something that resonates with you deeper?
There are many, many, many concerts I have enjoyed. If I tell you, if I change the answer to the opposite, I will tell you the first gig I ever did in my life. I had maybe 12 years old, and my uncle told me to play in the recess of his concert with another student of guitar, and I couldn't really play the guitar. Like my hands were stuck, and I was just red and trying to move how I could. And I will never forget that one for sure. But after that one, I started to be more comfortable. Of course, so nervous always at the first years, but much more comfortable. And then one remarkable concert. I had a project some years ago in Spain with a singer called Ana Barba. She's a flamenco singer, really, really talented, really extremely good. And we made, and she's from the flamenco, right? And same as I am. And there was a moment where we wanted to break a little bit with our, let's say, comfort zone, and we wanted to do something else that we like it. So we made a project called Boleros and Melodías. Boleros y Melodías. Boleros are also a type of songs from Latin America as well, and they're really beautiful lyrics, and we were fan of those classic songs, and then some Cuban songs as well, and some bossa nova. So we started to study this and made that project, and we made one concert in the theater in my village, which we didn't know how it's gonna be. We rented it. We say, okay, we invite our friends. Whoever comes, comes, and all of a sudden it was sold out. Like it was full of people, and they enjoy so much. We enjoy as well. We cry after, and it was really powerful because after that, or during the whole process, I was studying all these melodies, all these different ways of playing the guitar. I think I grew as a musician a lot, and after that, I was able to play a lot of other stuff that I wasn't before. So that was really nice moment.
Have you ever, as a musician, experienced like a burnout, like this, this flame, this flamenco spark, like you're really dying out, or?
I had a burnout time when I was in Madrid before I came to Strava because I wanted to be a musician only, and I was playing quite a lot, but it wasn't enough. Like there was 1 month I had like really fine months with a lot of concert, and I could pay all the bills and everything. Second month it wasn't that good, and I didn't understand why, because I was studying the whole life, I was playing the whole life. I think I was good enough to make a life with that, but it didn't come. And then I understood like I wasn't neither like mentally ready for that. I was young. I don't know. I wasn't mentally ready for that, and I think now when I have the job I love, which is teaching kids and showing them as well what I like to do. I have the time and I have the mental readiness to not readiness, but the mentality, let's say, to to grow in music more and to more consciously grow my project and work on it. And I think that's very valuable.
Unfortunately, we are nearing the end of our episode now, so
No.
I wish I could talk to you more, but we have five final questions.
Cool.
The answer can be as short or as long as you want, but
Right.
let's keep it shorter.
Shorter.
Yeah. So, how do you keep your cultural roots alive?
Sure. I will tell you very quickly through gastronomy.
Okay.
I have still Mediterranean diet here. Like I try to cook with a lot of vegetables. I know it's not easy sometimes to find all the ingredients, but I try to keep this alive at home. So my kids are used to it, all kind of stuff from there. Also, they are in contact with Czech cuisine, but I think that's one of the ways, and through the music too.
Yeah, music, because it's basically your
Of course.
part of your
yeah.
identity.
In my
from
home,
when
we're
you grew up.
listening Spanish music quite constantly, and also eating good stuff.
Beautiful. So, if your time in Ostrava or this region was a song, which one would it be? Maybe did you write any song inspired by your surroundings here?
I wrote a song called Ostrava, and it was a must. I had to do it. I was thinking for a long time how to put in words what I feel for this city, because sometimes it's difficult to explain my friends like why I'm here and why I feel so happy here. And so I wrote a short song about that, and I think It is quite beautiful. I don't sing it yet in the live concert. It's kind of a calmer song, but I plan to record it as well, as we are recording now the album, and for sure it will be in the live concert soon.
Amazing. This is unique, because you have a song especially for this
Yeah.
question. Like,
Yeah.
I wrote a song Ostrava. This
Yes,
captures my
yes,
life in
yes,
Ostrava.
yes.
So, what
Absolutely.
makes you want to call Ostrava your home?
Many things, but I will say, and I would relate to another song I have. It's called Hogar, which means home. And for many years, I've been thinking, what is a home, right? Like, because I've been traveling. I went out of my parents' home when I was 18 to study, and I never came back properly. Like, I came back to visit, to that and that. And in some places, I felt like this is my home as well. And I came up with the thing that the home is not about the place, but more about the people you are with. So every time I go back to Spain, I made my peace with that. I go back to my parents, I feel home. I come here, I feel home as well because, I have my family here as well. Or even when I go to visit my friend to Madrid or wherever, I feel at home as well because they're people I love and they made the home at the end. So there is no one place that I will call home only, but many places and many people I will call. Yeah.
So, what about a place that is a hidden gem to you in Ostrava?
Right. Need to be in Ostrava or
Oh, it's gonna
surrounded
be our
even.
region, yeah, sure.
Because, well, I love to go to Krasna in the mountains in Beskidi. I've been going there even before my kids were born with my wife, just two of us, to Ojata, and now with my kids as well. Then my parents as well have come there, and we just love to go mushrooming or just taking hike or whatever. That's for me really relaxing. It helped me to disconnect from city. Of course, in Ostrava as well, I have like favorite places. I don't know. I don't know if I can name some coffee or something.
If
Yeah,
you want.
okay. I love to go to La Peco
Okay, of
to
course.
visit David and also the coffee where I met my wife in Ucernejo Stromu as well. I've been there many times. So these are two places I usually go daily, practically.
So, what about a tips for a trip to Spain or Andalusia, your home region?
Definitely, if you go to Spain, you need to go to Andalusia. If you go to Andalusia, you need to go to the province of Cadiz. And in Cadiz, I'll give you two quick tips. First one is my village, Arcos de la Frontera. You can Google it, check the picture, and you will just decide to go there. Food is excellent, views are excellent, people are excellent. And then second tip, go to Cadiz capital. It's one of the oldest city in Europe. It has a lot of history. It has beautiful beach. The historical center, is so beautiful too. Food, nice fish, nice people as well. I really recommend to go to Cadiz and to Arcos, definitely.
So, what about your home village? How small it is? Like, if I say I
Oh.
know Aran Sanchez, will they be like, oh yeah, we
They will
know
know
him."
me.
Yeah.
More likely, yes. It's not that small village. In fact, there is like, let's say 28,000 people living there, but it's still the feeling of village. Like we all know each other. Um, I don't know, like it's at the end it's not that big what is a village. Then they have like different neighborhoods a bit in the extra radio, but the village itself is not so big. So definitely if you go there, if I am there I will show you around. If I'm not there, ask from Adan Sanchez, Caro, and they will know me. Definitely.
Perfect.
Most of it.
Perfect. Sounds good. Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Aran,
Martin.
for joining
Thanks.
me. It's my pleasure, and yeah,
So
I really
mine.
like your story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and good luck with the podcast. It's wonderful, and it was really pleasant to talk
Thank
to
you
you.
so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I will see you guys in the next episode. So bye for now.
A quien pudiera explicarte, a quien pudiera describirte, a quien pudiera convertirte en su amada. Si quisiera dibujar mi alma, pensaría en Ostrava. Oh, pensaría en Ostrava. Pensaría en Ostrava.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Ostrava Expat Center with the media partnership from magazine Patrio.